Welcome back to the channel, guys. This week I just wanted to cover off on a subject that comes up quite a bit, in fact, both when I meet people out in the field, etc., when I'm talking to people during the week about what I did on the weekend, but also, for instance, this week on Facebook, there's a gentleman who put up a question in one of the canoeing forums on what it is you need to actually go camping and what equipment should I take and where should I go, etc. So essentially what he was looking for was advice from the community on how he should go about actually camping out of a canoe. So this week I want to cover off the 5 easy steps that you need to take to make a great weekend out on your canoe. Now you can be canoe camping, you can be in a kayak, a sit-on type kayak, it can even be a stand-up paddleboard if you want. As long as you've got somewhere you can strap down the equipment or the actual dry bags, etc., then any craft will get you out in the water. So the first one is planning. Where are you going to go? Now, this is one of the items that can really make or break a canoe trip or a camping trip out of a canoe. And what I look for typically, and what I did in my first camping trip, in fact, was went to a place called Lake Wyaralong. Now, there are a couple of reasons I chose that. One, it was close to home. So if something goes wrong, a storm turns up, it all goes sideways and pear-shaped, it's really quick and easy to get home again. The other reason though, one of the main reasons, was because it has a fixed campsite there, actually the actual lake itself. So I could actually go there, whilst I took a tent and so forth, there was actually a facility there where you could camp in, etc. But you're on the edge of a lake, or the side of a lake, which is really nice, but you're not stressed about finding a wild campsite. Now my preference for anyone that's watching my channel is that I do like wild camping. I'll just get onto Gaia Maps, Google Earth, things like that, and I'll search out and find little nooks and crannies around lakes, rivers, estuaries, etc., about where I want to camp. The other options, or the other thing to look at, I should say, is things like lakes, choice of waterway. So whether you go on a lake, a river, or in Australia here, we do a lot of estuary camping as well. And there's pros and cons to each. So with a lake, it's probably the #1 choice. Why? Because it's nice flat water, it's not moving, there's less to contend with. Lakes have a lot of beautiful campsites around them typically, so it's not too hard to find a campsite you can have to yourself. And of course, access by car parks, etc. So a lake is a really good choice for your first time out. Second choice is rivers. Rivers are okay. One of the benefits, obviously, river is it's moving water, so there's less paddling, which is great. But you really don't want to go too much distance-wise on your first time out, paddling with all the camping gear, etc. Make it easy on yourself. Make it 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 kilometers max. Don't go flogging yourself all day in the canoe to try and find some remote campsite. Make it easy. The easier it is, the more you'll enjoy it. So what you really want to have is, if possible, it's a slow moving river. You don't want rapids. You might be a great canoeist and paddler and so forth and love doing rapids, etc. But when all your camping gear starts falling out, it all starts to go pear-shaped. So once again, just find a nice, easy river to go camping on. Third option here, and I use it quite a lot in Australia especially, is estuaries. So estuaries give you probably the best of all three in that you've got lovely flat water, you've got a river coming down, so you can paddle up the river typically because it's nice and slow moving at the bottom of the estuary. And you've also got then access to the salt water of the ocean. What that gives you then is obviously a lot more fish in the river or the system to catch. And you can camp on a nice sandy beach, which is really lovely as well. So planning as to where you want to go is really, really critical. As I said, don't try and make the distance too far. You don't want to be driving for 12 hours if you can avoid it. And you don't want to be paddling all day if you can avoid it as well. What you want to be able to do is paddle for maybe 1 or 2 hours max. Get to a nice campsite so you've got plenty of time to camp, plenty of time to set yourself up at the campsite, I should say, and to find a place for your tent and find the place out. You've then got all day to paddle. So don't be too much of stress to be paddling all day to get to a campground. Get to the campground and then go back out in your canoe, do your fishing, do your paddling, and explore the area. And that's a lovely way to do it. It's much more relaxed and you're not stressed about where you're camping. Okay, so second component. You've got yourself to this great place to camp, which is fantastic. You've had a great time in your canoe or your kayak or whatever craft you're using. And now you're going to need somewhere to sleep. So tents or sleeping options you've got, swags, tents, whatever you like, hammocks, the whole lot. There's a whole lot of options out there today. If you've been camping before and camping's your thing, great, no problem. You don't need my advice on what to use. If you've not been camping or not done a lot of camping, may have been in great big tents or out of the back of cars and so forth, do yourself a favour and buy second hand the first time. you might not like it, you may not enjoy it, it may not be your thing. So rather than going out and spending a whole lot of money on brand new equipment, go and buy second hands. You can still buy the really good equipment at a really good price, particularly about 2 weeks after any period of time in your country where people have been camping, whether it's summer, spring, Easter here in Australia is a big period for us for camping. People go away camping for 1 or 2 weeks, etc. 2 weeks after that period, you'll find a whole lot of brand new equipment going on the market second hand on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever program or system you use in your particular country, but you'll find a whole lot of gear up for sale because a lot of people go away camping, don't like it, their partner doesn't like it, and they'll just sell that equipment really, really cheap. So that's a great place to find bargains. So you're going to need a tent. I'll show you a different couple of options that I've used over the years. One is the Vango, very popular in the UK. Great tent, 2 hoops, 4 pegs, pull it up, and it's standing up all in one piece, which is nice. You're not putting it up the 2 pieces of the tent. Quick, easy, very, very good tent. Only issue I had with that one here in subtropical Queensland was the ventilation. It's designed for cool climates. I'm in a warm climate, so I wanted something that was a little bit lighter, a little bit more compact when it was packed up, but more importantly gave me ventilation. And the second option I got, the Big Agnes, as you'll see on the video now, has a much better ventilation system, so you can literally get a whole draft going through that tent, which is fantastic for me. Second thing is the sleeping system. They call them systems because there's 3 parts to it. A mat, some sort of camping mat to sleep on. Now my advice, once again, is inflatable, self-inflating mats, etc. You don't have to go out and buy second hand. You can buy brand new if you want, but once again, you don't have to buy the expensive brands. Kmart sell these types of things these days, Walmart, Amazon, REI, and of course all your outdoor stores. Buy yourself a nice comfortable mat and buy yourself a sleeping bag that's good to at least 10 degrees Celsius. Anything under that you can get, but look, if you're going camping your first time at under 10 degrees Celsius, you're probably not going to have the best time. My advice, go in a warmer period. The shoulder seasons of autumn and spring are usually the best, which means you can just buy a regular sleeping bag. Try and get a synthetic one that compresses really nicely and small. That way it's less gear to carry once again. The other item, of course, is a comfortable pillow. Now, I've actually seen people take pillows from home. They'll just scrunch them up and put them into a plastic bag and tie them up with a bit of string. Good as gold. They get there, they open it up, they've got a nice big pillow. If it's just one night and you're just going by yourself or you and your partner, just take up good big pillows, guys. It really doesn't matter. You can upgrade to other pillows further down the track if you both really like it. But getting a good night's sleep is critical to going camping and wanting to go camping again and again and again. If you don't sleep because you're wet, you're uncomfortable, you're cold, and you can't get a good night's sleep, you won't go camping again. And if you talk to people who went camping and didn't like it, that's often one of the big things for them, is they just didn't get a good night's sleep. They wake up the next morning, they're crabby, they're grumpy, they don't want to go camping again. So do yourself a favour, get yourself a nice little camping system. The other aspect is food. Now, this is another one that is a make or break for a camping trip. I take this guy here, but my first trip, I just took a little soft one. That with a couple of little ice packs in it was fantastic. Do yourself a favour, don't cook while you're out there. Take yourself a little container of some sort, put some spaghetti bolognese in this, beef stew, whatever you like. I took out a spaghetti bolognese meat sauce in a container like this, some pasta in a bag, really simple, really easy. So all you've got to do at camp is essentially boil up the pasta, quick and easy, heat up the sauce, put it all onto a bowl or a plate, and you've got a nice quick and easy dinner. The other great thing about pasta, of course, is it fills you up, and the protein in the beef and so forth makes you feel fuller for longer. Now, if you've got a full stomach and you've eaten well, you're going to sleep much better, of course, as well, which once again enhances your camping experience to want to do it again. The other thing to talk about, of course, is cooking systems. And you can get these little twig stoves, which I absolutely love and have used a lot. You can cook on a fire, once again, which is great. But my advice, once again, in your first trip, just get yourself a little gas stove. You can buy cheap ones of these for $15, $20 if you want. Yes, I've got a beautiful MSR one, but I know I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it for many, many years. I bought that system also because it will fit into this little GSI camping system here. So that whole gas container and the stove all packs down into this. And this is a pot for cooking in. The handle just folds back out again. Comes with a cover, which you can use to actually wash up dishes if you're really keen. And there's a little cup inside there as well. Now, when I normally camp today, though, I use a bigger gas canister. And in here I'll then put my titanium mug, lighters, all that type of stuff, anything I need for the actual site itself. My little coffee dripper as well, that also goes in here. And then I have a separate canister in my dry bag, which is great. Now, lighting systems. There is 1,000 lighting systems on the camping websites or camping YouTube channels you'll see. #1 system in the world, a big lighter. Don't kid yourself. Don't worry about flints, don't worry about ferro rods, don't worry about all the other systems. Just get a big lighter, guys. These are the #1 fire lighting system in the world, trust me. You'd be surprised how many outdoor guys, backwoods, country guys and everything else always have a big lighter with them. Why? It's waterproof. Throw it in the water, pull it out, shake the water off, light it up and away it goes. Don't go fancy once again. Big lighter, couple of dollars at your supermarket. Great way to go. Another one where people can get carried away is lighting. Now, you would have seen this, of course, in my canoe, which is a blow-up inflatable, rechargeable by solar and by power. Light, which is fantastic, and that's a great option. But the option I would suggest is just to get yourself a head torch. Now, what I've bought here is a Petzl head torch with it comes with a little cover. And this cover is brilliant because it has a little bungee cord on it, which means you can then hang it up inside your tent. Your tent will have little tabs inside. You can hang it up inside there. You can stand it up beside you on your rescue or your chiller, or put it on the ground beside you. And of course inside is your normal head torch. Now, head torches, once you've had a head torch, you won't go back. There's no going back from a head torch. Having both hands free and be able to simply point the light around with your head is just substantially easier. Once again, just buy a headlight if that's all you want. You don't have to have the little cover. Once again, just a head torch will do. If it's you and a partner and whatever else, head torch is more than enough light for one night. If you're going for multiple nights and you're going to get right into camping, yes, then there's 1,000 options for lighting up your campsite. But if it's just one night, just get yourself a head torch, guys. If you've got a hand torch, that'll work as well. But a head torch is much easier for cooking and putting up your tent and all that sort of stuff, and just getting around the campsite at night, going to the toilet, those types of things. So the other thing with canoe camping, and I hear this a little bit, particularly if you're taking a partner with you, is the boredom level, okay? So take something to do whilst you're at the campsite, whether that's reading a book. You can take an iPad and watch movies if you really want to. Get out in your canoe, your kayak, your stand-up paddleboard, go exploring, and that's always my favourite thing to do. I do a lot of fishing at the moment because I want to teach myself to fish so I can actually eat and take less food with me. But go out paddling, go out exploring the area. Doesn't matter which craft you're in the evening, from about sort of 3 or 4 in the afternoon on to dark, it's just perfect. You'll see the lake behind me here. It just flattens out beautifully. Really, really lovely. Get out in the sunset and so forth, and get out on the lake or the river or the estuary or wherever you are and do some exploration. The other great option is photography. Now, you can just use your mobile phone, guys. You don't have to go out and buy an $8,000 DSLR to take really great photos. The photos I take are just taken on my phone. The video I'm taking, even shooting today here, is just on a GoPro 9. All right, so I don't have a DSLR, nothing expensive equipment, all right? Light and simple. A mobile phone will take excellent photos. So typically at most campgrounds, or most places you're going to go camping, there is huge opportunities for getting some really lovely photos, sunsets, all that sort of stuff, animals and wildlife on the water and around you. The great thing about being on a lake or a river or an estuary is it's always a mecca for wildlife, whether that be your local kangaroos and so forth here in Australia, typically a lot of bird life, etc. And that's a really lovely thing to go out and try and do as well. Is just go out, do some exploration, and get some great photos. Some of the other things I've done in the past as well is take day hikes. So Lake Wyaralon, the first place I went camping, had a lovely hike up to the local mountain behind the actual campground itself, which was really, really nice. So I got up really, really early, about 5:30 in the morning, and hiked up to the top of that and got some great footage. Unfortunately, there was fog, but we couldn't see the lake. But once again, that was a really nice thing to do. And it's easy to put a little day pack in your bag. Otherwise, just take a bottle of water. Water-wise on camping, I always take one of these little guys in the canoe with me. And I'll take something like this with me, which carries 4 or 5, 6 litres, that type of thing as well. But if you're camping on a lake or river, you can always filter water as well. So activities, think about that before you go. I've seen people do watercolor painting, people take mouth organs, people take guitars. whole range of things you can do, but think about your activities. Don't just get out there and go, oh, now what are we going to do? Think about it before you get out there. So the fifth and final part of a successful canoe camping trip is what to carry all your gear in, obviously, and also whether you go by yourself and with someone else. I forgot to put this into the equipment part, but dry bags are important. Don't worry about getting a barrel system unless you're planning to go down rapids on your first trip, which I don't encourage. If we're just going on flat water, go to, that one's from Kmart. I use it for my electronic equipment. I've got a bigger blue one, which you would have seen in my videos. This one also came from Kmart and has a little clear sleeve at the front for your mobile phone. So your mobile phone just sits in the front inside, nice and warm and dry. A lovely bright colour. I use that for my mobile phone and my car keys. So I've got an electronic key fob, so that makes sure that's 100%. And that stays beside me, clipped into the canoe at all times, so it can't leave the canoe. But once again, don't worry about barrel systems, don't worry about expensive dry bag systems, just get something cheap and easy. It's literally just got to be splash proof, to be honest. Unless you're planning to tip everything out into the water, which you can do in rapids, as I said, but otherwise in flat water, once again, this will do the job. The most it's got to cover off is just getting things splash wet. My younger brother, when he went out in his first inflatable kayak, when he did a trip on that, he literally just took shopping bags, okay? He just put some shopping bags, wrapped it all up, tied it up, shoved it up under the front of the nose of the canoe, his little kayak. And that worked fine, no issue at all, because once again, he didn't plan to throw it all into the water. So it was fine. It just stopped the little bits of water that get splashed around as you're paddling and getting in and out and so forth. That's all it's really got to cover off. And of course, if it rains, when you're out camping as well. So the final piece as well of all this is whether you go solo or whether you take a partner. Now, once again, my advice, go by yourself if you can, okay? If you're not comfortable camping by yourself, okay, totally understand that, no issue at all. But if you go do it by yourself, you can try things, test things, see what you like, what didn't work, what does work, what equipment worked, what you think you'd change next time and so forth. So if you do 2 or 3 trips by yourself, even if you've got a 14, 15, 17 foot canoe, doesn't matter, do it by yourself, go out, have 2 test runs, and then once you're comfortable with it, you've got all the gear that you think you need and so forth, you can then take your partner out with you to the next trip. And then they're going to enjoy it a whole lot more because one, you're in control of what you're doing and they love that. So they can just relax because they're not worried that you don't know what you're doing. You do know what you're doing now. They can relax, you can relax, and you both have a much better trip. And if you do that, there's more chances, once again, of them wanting to come back with you on further trips into the future. In fact, part of the problem might be they want to come on every single trip with you, and that's okay. That's all right. So my advice, once again, do it solo. I do all of my trips solo. I will go out with other people sometimes. I've done a lot of trips with my younger brother. I'm going out with a subscriber in October as well. So we're finally getting on his little sit on top kayak. We're going to get out and do that trip. We've been trying to put together for a while now. But 99% of the time, I'll go by myself. Why? I can get up, I can go when I leave. I can leave when I want, sorry. I can get up when I want, go to bed when I want. I don't have to worry about anyone else. I can just come and go as I please, which I really, really enjoy. So I don't have to think about anyone else. I can go fishing till it's pitch dark. I can get up when it's pitch dark. I can do whatever I like. I don't have to worry about anyone else. So that's just my preference. So guys, I really hope that's helped you out. It's 5 simple steps, as I said. It's really not that technical. It's really not that hard. Just get yourself some nice equipment. Let me know in the comments below if you guys would like me to do an equipment video. I see these ones where they call it haul out and all that sort of stuff. I would just call it an equipment video. But if you want to see what I actually take with me and so forth, and for me to go through it item by item by item, I'm more than happy to do that and share that with you guys. So let me know in the comments whether that's something you're interested in or not. I don't want to put these videos up if no one's going to watch them. It's no interest to me, obviously. So let me know if you're interested in that. But thank you for watching through to the end. I hope you got something out of this, and I really hope that you have a great time on your first time camping out of your canoe. Thanks for watching.